It is Tuesday, the 2nd of February 2021. The news is read by Merrano Isaacs. Good morning. As Guyana intensifies its efforts to secure vaccines needed to immunize the population from the virus COVID-19, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony announced that the country will soon receive nearly 104,000 vaccine doses from the COVAX facility, a global vaccination alliance. Months ago, Guyana signed up with the COVAX facility, which is geared at accelerating the development and manufacture of the COVID-19 vaccines and then providing them in a guaranteed, rapid, fair and equitable manner. And under this mechanism, Guyana is expected to receive its first set of vaccines to cover about 20% of the population for free. The minister highlighted on Monday during his COVID-19 update with the Department of Public Information. The vaccines expected are the AstraZeneca vaccine, otherwise called the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which have received emergency use authorization in the United Kingdom, the European Union, India and other countries. This is a two-dose vaccine, meaning that once one receives one dose of the vaccine, one will have to return sometime after to acquire the second dose. ExxonMobil reports having spent some $77.5 billion on Guyanese-owned businesses since 2015 and grown its workforce to reflect a local content capacity of over 56%. That's according to company officials during the virtual opening ceremony of the Guyana Suppliers Forum 2021 on Monday. Of the total sum expended on Guyanese-owned businesses thus far, Exxon says approximately $31 billion was spent in 2020 alone on some 806 companies, representing an approximate 29% increase on the over $24 billion it had reportedly spent in 2019. Company production manager Mike Ryan shared during his video remarks at the forum that they're very proud of the progress made with local content. Over time, we have progressed efforts with continued growth in hiring and development of personnel and expansion in the area of supplier utilization in 3 years, growing from less than 500 Guyanese personnel to over 2,300, and from less than 100 vendors to over 800 vendors in 2020. According to Ryan, notwithstanding the constraints of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, which greatly affected the economy in 2020, the Exxon workforce grew to over 4,100. The over 2,300 Guyanese at the company said represented 21% in Guyanese labor when compared with the 1,900 that were on the team in 2019. Though a 5.7 earthquake struck Guyana and parts of Brazil on Sunday afternoon, some communities in the South Rupununi, which are close to the epicenter of the earthquake, still experienced continuous tremors well into Monday. The earthquake, which struck the South Rupununi area of Guyana on Sunday, resulted in tremors of varying intensities throughout Guyana and in Boa Vista, Brazil. The brunt of the natural disaster was felt in the South Rupununi area, where several buildings and earthen surfaces were damaged. On Monday, regional chairman of Region 9, Brian Alicock, told the Guyana Chronicle that the communities of Katunarib, Sawariwao and Aishalton were among those more seriously affected. A few houses collapsed and some roads were cracked. Tushao of Aishalton, Michael Thomas, during a telephone interview said what happened on Sunday that lasted for quite a while in Aishalton. The vibrations, very ugly vibrations, lasted for about 1 minute and it got a lot of people scared and houses were damaged. He also highlighted that on Monday morning around 6 hours 23, there was another earthquake-like occurrence that shook the community for about 12 seconds. He said individuals living in zinc-roofed houses in particular felt this latter occurrence. Thomas said his community has been rattled since it is quite uncommon for an earthquake, albeit a moderate one as this one is, to affect the area. Even so, Aishalton has been spared from what is perhaps the most concerning activity following Sunday's earthquake, and that is continued tremors occurring at 10 to 15-minute intervals. In the community of Katunarib, which is approximately 1 hour's drive away from Aishalton, Thomas related that there have been these intermittent tremors, which have been of much concern to the community. Katunarib, due to its location in the deep South Rupununi, does not have great network connectivity. The Guyana Chronicle, however, was able to confirm the constant tremors with regional officials. We now turn our attention to regional news. Aruba, or instead, the Minister of Social Affairs and Labor and the Department of Labor and Investigation announced that February 15, 2021, which is the day after the planned Grand Carnival Parade, will remain a festive day. The COVID-19 pandemic also impacted Aruba. The government has introduced many preventative measures to try to mitigate the spread of the virus. Consequently, free movement was restricted. One of the measures introduced is the gathering prohibition that was devastating for cultural events. Some events were cancelled or adjusted temporarily. The greatest impact of this measure was on the carnival celebration, and due to the nature of this virus and the way it spread, it was necessary to cancel this event for the first time in 65 years of carnival celebration in Aruba. This carnival would have been a great celebration if it was not for this virus. Rest assured that once it is safe again, the carnival celebrations will be back on track, including all cultural events. Therefore, Monday, February 15, 2021 remains a festive day. International news now. Calls are growing for the release of Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi a day after the army seized power in the Southeast Asian nation. Ms. Suu Kyi, who led the country's elected government, has not been seen since she was detained by the military. Hundreds of MPs also remain confined after soldiers surrounded their accommodation in the capital. While no protests have been reported, there have been acts of defiance, including a strike by medical staff. The military took power and declared a state of emergency on Monday after accusing Ms. Suu Kyi's party of fraud over its recent election win. Her National League for Democracy, NLD, demanded her immediate release on Tuesday. It also called upon the military to accept the results of the November election, which saw the NLD win more than 80% of the votes. Myanmar, also known as Burma, was ruled by the armed forces until 2011, when democratic reforms led by Ms. Suu Kyi ended military rule. Rapper Silento has been arrested and charged with the murder of his cousin. The Cobb County Police Department confirmed that Silento, real name Ricky Hawk, was arrested on the 1st of February after his cousin Frederick Rooks was found shot dead on the 21st of January. The 23-year-old had a hit with his single "Watch Me Whip Nay Nay" in 2015, which reached number 3 in America and number 19 in the UK. He's currently being held in the Cobb County Jail and is charged with murder. According to XXL magazine, the 34-year-old victim was found bleeding heavily after suffering gunshot wounds to his face and leg in a suburb of Georgia, USA. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has eased some restrictions imposed due to the coronavirus, including lifting an unpopular ban on alcohol sales. Beaches will reopen and limited religious gatherings will be allowed. The announcement came as Mr. Ramaphosa hailed the arrival of the first shipment of vaccines, 1 million AstraZeneca doses, as a chance to turn the tide on COVID-19. South Africa has had the most COVID infections and deaths on the continent. More than 1.4 million people have contracted the virus since the pandemic began, and 44,164 are known to have lost their lives, according to Johns Hopkins University research. Many countries have banned travel from South Africa in an effort to stop the spread of the highly infectious 501Y.V2 variant, which is believed to have originated there and which is suspected to be more resistant to vaccines. And now we turn our attention to the world of sport. Tafin Khan's road to his fourth senior chess championship title took a positive turn when he defeated defending champion Anthony Drayton in round 2 of the 2020 final, which was postponed from early last year, on Sunday morning at the National Stadium in Providence. The 29-year-old candidate master, who was a dominant force in his late teens and early 20s, said that the path to the title has narrowed, but that it was still early for him to feel overly confident. He noted that the upcoming clashes this weekend against former champion and candidate master Wendell Musa and top player Loris Natu will be crucial in determining his overall success. Musa, who is also unbeaten, was expected to play Glenford Corlett this afternoon in his postponed first-round clash. He currently sits on 2 points after back-to-back wins on Sunday. He defeated 2020 Rapid and Blitz champion Davion Mars in round 2 and Errol Tiwari in round 3. After today's clash against Corlett, Musa can also enter this weekend with 3 points, but he faces his toughest battles with Drayton in round 4 and Khan in round 5. Khan played the Chigoran defense against D4 when he battled FIDE master Drayton. He said that the game was almost even until move 20, when he was able to gain position. Towards the end, Khan held his nerve for the win. Drayton was able to rebound on Sunday afternoon when he defeated Loris Natu in round 3, while Khan forced Rai Sharma to resign. He currently sits on 2 points from 3 games. Corlett, who defeated Mars in round 3, will also play his round 2 match today when he meets Mr. Sharma. 8 of the top players in Guyana are battling over 7 rounds to determine an overall winner. And Australia have pulled out of their tour of South Africa in February and March because of coronavirus concerns. The teams were due to play 3 tests subject to biosecure protocols being agreed. Cricket Australia said it had no choice but to postpone the series because of the health situation in South Africa, where a more contagious variant of the virus has been reported. Australia had named a 19-man squad, but the schedule had not been confirmed. Cricket Australia interim CEO Nick Hockley said, it has become clear that travelling from Australia to South Africa at this current time poses an unacceptable level of health and safety risk to our players, support staff and the community. The decision has not been made lightly, and we are extremely disappointed, especially given the importance of continuing international cricket at this time. Our valued relationship with CSA and our aspirations to compete in the inaugural ICC World Test Championship. England withdrew midway through their limited overs tour of South Africa in December after a number of positive cases. South Africa has been the worst hit country in Africa, with more than 1.4 million coronavirus cases and 44,000 deaths. It has been affected by a second wave in recent weeks, although President Cyril Ramaphosa said on Monday that the second peak of infections had passed. And that's your newscast this Tuesday morning, the 2nd of February 2021. With special credits to Guyana Chronicle, Caribbean News Global and the BBC. For these stories and more, do visit our website at www.realfmgy.com.
You're listening to 93.1 Real FM, the home of hit music.